Hello everyone, this is Dean Phoenix with the next part of my Bioshock Infinite Episode 7. This is the 1999 walkthrough for the Scavenger Hunt mode achievement. So basically what that means is that we're not using any dollar bill machines so that we can get the Scavenger Hunt achievement whilst completing 1999 mode. So you come out of the Good Time Club, there are a couple of enemies just to take out, and then you go into Chenlin's workshop again. And when you come out, you've got a few enemies here that you can be a little bit tricky. So there, I possessed the first one. Use bucking broncos. You come around this side, but it's very easy once you get to this bit at the back, because if we're using the Sheltered Life hat, which is the one that I will usually use for the rest of the game, well, most of the time anyway, you see me miss here twice because whatever, nobody's perfect. And then you have Sheltered Life and those medical kits through the tear, and that makes this all really easy. To make it even easier, you could also use the same Winter Shield trick, where you use the Winter Shield shirt and hop about on the hooks like we did versus the Handyman in the last episode. But either that or Sheltered Life means that you can get a huge chunk of invulnerability and just kill them with whichever weapons or Skyline strikes that you wish. Make sure that you use the volley gun tear if you're using the volley gun, as I often do, to fill up your ammo again. And make sure that you come back here for the code book, which I actually did immediately after coming out of the Good Time, after taking out the first wave of enemies, and that gets you a bunch of other stuff in there as well. Moving on, when you've scavenged everything, you come to this area next. And we're going to be making our way to the lower area of Finkton. Possess the rocket dude up top first, and then you can just go about sniping people. There's also the tear that I activated on the right hand side, which is an automaton turret, which can help you out as well. And then between that, the sniper rifle and the turret, you should be very easily able to take out all the enemies there. Possess the machine that's on the right hand side just for a little bit of coin, silver eagles, as we always do, and then we come down to this area of Finkton. Now this bit you can leave the infusion here until right at the end when you're coming back through this area where the enemies won't be hostile, but there's no need, you can just kill these guys pretty easily. And then again, there's a ton of food here, so you can grab as much or as little as this as you need or want, and then grab the infusion. Now, whilst you've got the little Sheltered Life boost, if you get a wriggle on, where I don't here, to be perfectly honest, I just take my time. But when you're heading down this way, you can go to the bar, and there's a bunch of good stuff to get there as well. And you can usually keep the Sheltered Life boost long enough to take out these two guys easily if needed, or you can just use possession. Now here you've got the repeater and a couple of boxes of repeater ammo, so you can use the repeater for this next bit if you want to try it out a bit. Now just a quick thing here, you can take these guys out as soon as you do anything to try and pick anything up, or obviously fire at them, it will make them hostile. You can just ignore them if you want. But as I show here, there is a 100 salt pickup behind the bar as well. You can just see it on one of the shelves in the background. So behind the bar there is a 100 salt pickup, so you can kill all these people. Now one thing you might want to do is, you'll see here I pick up all of the alcohol. Now normally I don't pick up alcohol because it removes your salts, but you can pick up all of these and you actually stay drunk for like a really long time relative to if you just have 1 or 2 bottles of alcohol. So you can see that it lasts for a while, and you can use this to get the Lost Weekend achievement. So if you pick up all the alcohol first, you can try and kill them all when drunk. Just be careful you don't die. You pick up these keys in the basement. There's a Voxphone, some more repeater ammo, so you can fill up on that again. And so this is why we've come here first before we do the next bit, because it saves having to double back for the area where you use the keys later. Right, so after you've got those keys and everything else, as you carry on here, there is a checkpoint and then a gear pickup. So if you didn't farm all of the gear, or you're still missing a couple of useful pieces, such as Sheltered Life, hopefully not Winter Shield or Blood to Salt, because as I said, I've assumed you've got those earlier, but things like the Overkill boots, Hill Runner's hat, Brittle Skinned, if you haven't got Brittle Skinned yet, then you can restart that checkpoint, and that's a good place to do that there. Now after taking out all those enemies with whatever you want, I used the possession trap. You can just see in the distance there, that little health bar is a normal turret, and you can possess this. Now I'm just going to show here, those 2 large health bars are rocket turrets, so those defense turrets, that's the next objective, is to destroy those. You can just about see them in the distance, and you can tell if you're hitting them because you can use the hand cannon or the sniper rifle to get them. There's a sniper rifle on the balcony if you didn't bring one with you. So as you can see there, if you possess the turret, particularly if you have you're able to nail the regular turret with electricity before you possess it, it can do a ton of damage to these, and you can see there that they are actually immune to being possessed themselves, even though they're machines. So you want to possess the turret in the middle and then take out those two large defense turrets with that. Now this area has loads of skylines, that's how you move about it, so we want Winter Shield, makes this whole thing tons easier. You can use Vampire's Embrace if you want to get health back when you skyline strike the enemies, but it's not really necessary. So I just stick with Overkill for the most part. Very easy to miss Telescope there, so make sure you get that. And like I say, it's very useful to grab the sniper rifle for this bit here. And as you can see, even with Winter Shields, I'm not taking any damage. It can be very difficult to actually hit the defense turrets when they're bombarding you with rockets, even if it's not doing any damage, because it throws off your aim and things. So again, an easier way to do it, if you want to do that, is to use Winter Shield to get the invulnerability. You can see the ice shield on the health bar there. And then take over the turret with possession again, and then nail the larger defense turrets easily from that, and the turret will do a lot of work for you, taking out the other enemies. So a motorized Patriot, you just caught a glimpse of it, will spawn up there, and you can use Skyline Strikes and Winter Shield to kill a lot of the enemies without even using ammo if you want, but there's no need because there's hand cannon ammo and volley gun ammo in this area that I am here. So I use the tear that's there as well. You can see a rocket automaton, it's very useful. And then the rest of the battle is mainly just taking out the Patriot, and you can use Winter Shield for that. So Shock Jockey on the Patriot, you can possess it if you want, so it'll also help you take out the regular enemies. And between the Shock Jockey and the rocket automaton, it's pretty easy, and then you can just scavenge a load of health, and there's a voxophone and a few other things knocking about. Get your ammo back. Now there's a repeater here when you go into the building to do the next bit, so again this can be very useful. The repeater is a good short range weapon. I recommend trying it out so you can see if you like it or not, because it's one of the weapons that I do think is a good one to use going forward. So here there's a couple of options. You've got again some really useful tears, so make use of the tears here. You've got cover to hide behind if you want to just do that. You can see here using Blood Assault and Possession is the very good tactic for standard combat as always, particularly when you've got this cover. Now motorized Patriot's going to show up soon, so you just want to be a little bit careful with your tactics for that. But the other useful tears, there's a crank gun in the area directly behind where I am now, which you'll see as I'm fighting the Patriot, you'll see me run past it. So here's the Patriot, and you want to use Shock Jockey on it, and if you're using weapons that have good critical, like the repeater or the hand cannon like I've got here, then you can hit it in the back. If not, just try and use the crank gun that's on the tear there, that can be pretty good. Or you can use the volley gun, which is always useful and is, like I say, one of my favourite weapons. There's that safe there. Make sure after the combat you just grab all of the stuff that's in the safe. It doesn't need lock picking or anything, but you just take out the enemies with a combination of Shock Jockey and whatever else you want. Now you see here I lose my shield and take a ton of damage, which can be very dangerous, but again, this tear up here, medical kits, you can make your way up here as soon as you want, and you can just fight from this section very easily. And if you want, you can possess the Patriot and then take it out afterwards, or you can just take it out with regular weapons, and anytime your shield goes down and you take a little bit of health damage, you can just run back to that medical kit, tear, and use it with Sheltered Life. So that's why Sheltered Life is one of the best headgears, probably the best headgear until you get Rising Bloodlust, and even then it's pretty awesome. And then just take out the rest of the enemies. So after you've taken them out, and Elizabeth can actually do some lockpicking again, make sure you grab the money from that open safe that I mentioned when we were fighting the Patriot earlier, and then get Elizabeth to unlock this. There's a gear pickup in there, which again, depending on how many pieces of gear you're missing, if any, you might want to grab. But if you definitely do want to, there's some rockets to grab, the gear pickup, and as we've got should have the shield and salts fully maxed with the infusions, we're going to get our first two health infusions right here. So that's one of them. And then the other, because we already got the keys from the basement of the bar that I was explaining before, where you can get the Lost Weekend achievement drinking the alcohol. Those keys open this chest. So again, you've got whatever weapons you want to grab here, and then you've got a voxophone. I don't actually bother switching here because you know, I farmed all that money on the Infinite Gear video, but you could switch to extra for this if you want, because there's a couple of voxophones that you're going to pick up in quick succession. So we come here and we progress the story by there being another sort of main story tear that changes some of the things in the game, allowing you to progress. And just an honourable mention for the burst gun, which comes here. It's the Vox version of the carbine, and when I say honourable mention, it's more a dishonourable mention. It is the worst weapon by a long shot. It's the most expensive to upgrade. It doesn't have an automatic level 1 upgrade, so you have to buy all 4 upgrades for it, and I just don't like it. It's not even particularly common ammo, so yeah, I wouldn't recommend trying the burst gun. You could try it if you like, but I wouldn't recommend using it. It's going to be completely ignored by me for this whole thing. On the way back, there's a voxophone that wasn't there initially, so it's only there when you've done the tear. So just as you saw there, brief mention to do that. On the way back out, there are slightly more difficult enemies on the way back, but in this section there's a sniper there, so make sure you possess him, because he can do some good work for you, and then run forward and possess the rocket guy. Now, this is where we get the charge vigor. There's also a shotgun just there, you can see, if you want to grab it. They combine very well together. The charge vigor is excellent, but not yet. On 1999 mode, it's a difficult vigor to use unless it's upgraded, because you're charging into the fray, you're putting yourself at risk. So unless you've used Winter Shield or Sheltered Life, then you don't really want to be using charge without that invulnerability. It charges up, and you can either just use it with a quick press, or you can hold it to charge up and do a more powerful blow. I love charge, and we're going to be using it a lot later in the playthrough. A lot later, if you get me. We're going to be using it more often later in the playthrough. So you make your way now, and we're going to be moving towards the factory. So here, it's mostly the order of the day for me is sniping, keeping your distance, and using possession. There's plenty of salts and other pickups, and you've got some Vox soldiers with you, so they can be quite useful. Blood to salt keeps your salt topped up, and there are plenty of salt pickups around here anyway, so don't worry about doing that. There's a medical kit tear again, which again will pair fantastically with Sheltered Life, and there's a rocket turret here. Now I actually make a slight tactical mistake, very minor, but you can possess that turret, that rocket turret, and then use the rocket automaton tear that you can see just in the middle. Now if you use those both at once, that is extremely powerful, because it's a couple of turrets working together for you at the same time, so just try and do that. But you can use the rocket automaton tear, that's very useful. Snipe the other enemies, and then you can also take out the Patriot. If you can hit it with shock jockey from a distance, that will make it more vulnerable as well, and you can make short work of it there. So that's one of the easier encounters with a Patriot before you even get the vigor that destroys them, which we'll be getting very shortly. So then you can take the skyline up here once the airship turns up and starts shooting at you. Take out this turret and the guy here however you want. There is a salt pickup that you're not going to be able to come back to later as well. So make sure you grab that like I do here, and then take it out. Now here is combat with quite a few enemies and a Patriot. Now again, do as I say, not as I do. You can take these regular guys out however you want, but what you should do is possess the guy up top and then leave him. So here I do correctly possess the guy up top, but then I thought I'd change vigor and I hadn't, so I ended up possessing the guy down low as well. You should kill him with something else, because if you possess the guy on the balcony, he takes the Patriot's attention for a bit, and that means that you can get some good shots on the cogs and the back for the Patriot, so it takes more damage. So yeah, try and possess that guy up top and then get some good shots in on the Patriot's cog, where it will be doing more damage. But this again is a very easy encounter. It doesn't really seem to follow you up here, so you can use plenty of shock jockey and whatever weapons you want at close range. There's a carbine there to pick up, which isn't great against him. I just use shock jockey and the volley gun, shotgun, and there's an RPG which you're going to see shortly. There's the RPG, so you can always pick that up and unload all of that at him as well if you want to save yourself a bit of volley gun ammo. But as you'll see, there's a volley gun there and 2 ammo pickups and a health kit, so you should have plenty, and I still finish with the maximum 24 in my reserve after I've taken that out. So once you've killed that Patriot, you should hopefully have as much resources as possible. Scavenge the rest of the stuff before we move on to the factory. And the last little note is, before you enter the factory, right before the double doors up the big set of stairs, there is a very easy to miss telescope, so make sure you get that as well. Hope you found that useful. We'll be doing the factory in the next episode, and please like, comment and subscribe for more info and the next part of the walkthrough. Thank you very much.